stem cell therapy. Kahit saan ngayon, marami na tayong nakikita na nagsasabing meron silang mga instant cure sa mga sakit. Marami na ngayong mga products na nagkiklaim na stem cell therapy ito. And these products are said to do miraculous na mga improvements sa mga sakit. Halos lahat ng sakit ata binibigyan ng solusyon na stem cell. May it be in cardiac diseases o yung mga sakit sa kidney, meron ding sakit sa utak, meron ding mga autoimmune diseases, any other forms of illness ngayon, binibigyan ng sagot na stem cell therapy. Pero ano nga ba yung stem cell therapy? Ano yung stem cell? At posible ba natin itong makuha sa natural na paraan? At ito nga ba ay pwedeng makuha ng lahat? And most importantly, pwede ba itong maging libre? Because stem cell therapy is one of the most expensive and at the same time pinaka nakaka-gain ng profit when it comes to business right now. And yes, merong mga research backed up by the effectiveness of stem cell therapy, but it has to undergo certain processing, and these stem cell therapies are very, very expensive, and you have to make sure na ito ay makukuha ninyo, if ever, sa legit na mga providers. And those are healthcare providers na expert when it comes to stem cell therapy. But what if I tell you na yung stem cell pala is natural for us? We can have it. And first, before we discuss that, pag-usapan muna natin a little what is stem cell. So yung stem cell, by the name itself, stem cell, para siyang yung pinaka-root ng mga cells. So it's like mother cell. So yung ating katawan, we as humans, alam naman natin, no, na nabuo tayo from the merging of egg cell and the sperm cell. And then, so nagsimula kasi tayo as single cell. And then we divided, and then nagkaroon na tayo ng iba't ibang parts and organs. And those cells in our body, meron tayong tinatawag na progenitor cells. Ito yung parang mother cell na it is capable of producing other types. So for example, from this multipotent, potential na isang cell, pwede siyang maging heart, pwede siyang maging cell sa skin, pwede siyang maging cell na para sa eyes natin, pwede rin siyang maging cells na nasa buto natin. So these are the stem cell. At yung binibigay na promise ng stem cell therapy, since yung mga sakit natin, especially brought about by aging, is because of dysfunctional cells. Ito yung mga cells na hindi na ganon ka-functional, hindi na ganon ka-healthy, hindi na ganon ka-effective. So stem cell therapy promises na magbibigay siya ng bagong line ng cells na healthy na. And this stem cell can replace the non-functional or abnormally functional cells sa ating katawan. However, our body, ang akala natin, kailangan natin i-obtain yung stem cell from the outside, na kailangan tayong magbayad ng mahal, kailangan tayong mag-undergo ng maraming treatments just to have that stem cell, as if yung stem cell ay wala sa atin. But the truth is, yung ating katawan will always have that stem cell. And most importantly, the genes, the DNA in our body, each of our nucleus sa ating katawan, meron niyang DNA, meron niyang parang recipe book na kayang-kaya niyang gumawa ng kanyang sariling stem cell as long as meron kang tamang activation ito. And it's based also on the body parts. So say for example, our skin. Yung skin natin, medyo marami siyang capacity to reproduce stem cell. So we have to understand as of this point na depending on our body parts, iba-iba rin yung stem cell potential to regenerate per organ system. So that is why certain organ system na kapag ito ay na-damage na, medyo hindi na siya ganon kadaling ma-repair because its stem cell na regenerative potential is mababa. For example, kapag ikaw ay nasugatan sa iyong balat, in an instant, 1 day lang, sarado na. 2 days lang, magkakaroon na yan ng scab. After 3 days, meron ng darkening. After 1 week, 2 weeks, mawawala na yung scar, mawawala na yung scab, and then mafo-form na ito, magre-epithelialize na ito. Magkakaroon ito ng bagong skin. And that is the regenerative potential ng ating skin. Another part ng ating katawan na merong mataas na regenerative potential is yung ating intestines, yung ating intestinal lining. That's why kapag sumama yung pakiramdam natin, meron tayong nakaing hindi maganda, nagda-diarrhea tayo, but after 5 days, usually we are already back to normal because the lining in our stomach, yung mga cells na nasa stomach natin, only have a lot of stem cell and only 5 days lang magre-regenerate na ito. Bagong cell lining na naman. But there are body parts na medyo mababa yung kanilang stem cell regeneration potential. Yung kanilang pag-activate ng stem cell is medyo mahina o mababa, including our brain, ang ating kidneys, and ating heart. So, those organs along with others, medyo mahirap silang ma-activate. But it doesn't mean na wala na silang kakayahan to be activated because yung ating katawan, meron siyang mechanism to conserve or di kaya mag-splurge. So, if you are always eating a lot of food, yung mangyayari dito, yung katawan mo, hindi siya ma-force, hindi siya ma-inspire to activate those stem cell. Kasi yung stem cell, reserve yun sana in times of meron tayong deficiency, merong kawalan, o yung sa ating evolution, since we are always talking about evolutionary medicine, nire-reserve niya ito sa panahon na tayo ay walang makain on non-harvest season. Because humans is, as we evolved as humans over the course of thousands of years, no? Nagkaroon tayo ng mekanismo to be active even in times na wala tayong pagkain. Kasi merong mga cycle talaga na harvest season and non-harvest season. However, because tayo nga ay sobrang galing at naka-invent na tayo ng mga food and modes of preservation. So, meron na tayong available foods all year round. However, hindi siya ganun ka good news always because providing your body with food all year round will also give a signal to your body na parang harvest season ka lang parate. And that is no longer natural for our body to be in harvest season the whole time. Kasi nga, sanay yung katawan natin na merong mga panahon na non-harvest season o yung mga panahon na fasting season. And that is why kapag parati tayong kumakain lang ng kumakain, we've never heard of fasting. Alam lang natin yung fasting is pag-aayuno lang during Holy Week. But other times of the year, we no longer fast. We always have food around. Ina-avoid natin yung mga panahon na nagugutom tayo. Hindi natin binibigyan ng pagkakataon yung sarili natin na ma-experience yung non-harvest season. So ano yung nangyayari? So yung nangyayari actually, all of your cells, kahit old cells na sila, kahit dysfunctional cells na sila, they are still there. Nagkakaroon pa rin sila ng build-up dyan. So kahit hindi na sila ganun ka-effective, kahit pagod na sila, but since pinapalagay mo nga na iyong sarili ay on abundant state, so yung mga reserved na stem cells left untouched, hindi sila na-activate. Just like how we give blood kapag tayo ay nagdo-donate ng blood is said to be healthy. That is the reason why. Because kapag nag-donate tayo ng blood, we actually remove some of our blood and we are providing signals sa ating bone marrow to produce new blood kasi nga merong nawala. That is the importance of replenishing. Merong dapat proper turnover. Normally, yung blood ay ating red blood cells, specifically, yung kanyang lifespan ay nasa 3 months. And if you are, this is average of course, but it could be na before that 3 months time, some of those red blood cells are actually what we already call as senescent cells. Okay? Yung mga matatanda na at dysfunctional na. And by normal health and with a good level of health, dapat ito ay nare-replace na. But if you are not putting that signal to activate stem cell regeneration, then that senescent cells, yung matanda and dysfunctional and unhealthy cells na, pwede siyang manatili sa iyong katawan and that can cause problem. Kasi nga, hindi niya na nagagawa ng tama yung kanyang ginagawa. So how to activate stem cell, the natural stem cell, and this stem cell that is libre, hindi kailangan pumunta ng doktor just to activate this one. It is just very, very much free and available at nasa sa ating lahat. And this is the beauty of fasting. So fasting o pag-aayuno will actually activate stem cell. Hindi lang siya para pangpapayat. Fasting is not just about activating ketones. Fasting is not just about fat burning. Fasting, hindi lang siya about autophagy. Those are our favorite na mga benefits when it comes to fasting. Autophagy, just a side notes para sa mga bagong viewers natin, autophagy is the self-cleansing mechanism. Meron itong mitophagy, yung pagkain ng ating katawan sa mga bad parts like mitochondria na kailangan ng i-replace, or mga microphagy, yung mga maliliit na parts ng ating cells na kailangan ng i-replenish. So, nire-recycle ito. But stem cell reactivation, stem cell regeneration, it's like macro-autophagy, malalaki. So it's the whole cell na dysfunctional na pwedeng i-recycle. And then the moment na bababa na yung level ng cells because the bad ones, the old ones, the dysfunctional ones, yung hindi na effective na mga cells ay nawala na, then that is the signal for stem cell to regenerate. And the effect is just similar to stem cell therapy na nabibenta in and cost thousands and even millions of pesos kung ito ay i-avail. So if you don't believe me, it's okay. Meron na akong i-share na screen sa inyo for you to see the beauty of stem cells. Since we already tackled that yung intestinal stem cells natin is one of the fastest to regenerate in just 5 days. So, etong study na ito, this was even published in 2018 pa, fasting improves intestinal stem cell ability to regenerate. So, when you are on a fasted state, yung stem cell progenitor cell function ay mas activated as compared to when you are on fed state, kapag ikaw ay nakumakain lamang. So when you are on a fasted state, pwedeng-pwede na mawala mamamatay yung old cells, and it will be replaced by the new one. So that is also the reason why after fasting, hindi pwedeng bigla-bigla kang kakain ng heavy, because all of your intestinal linings after only 24 hours of fasting, it will be replenished. So hindi pa siya ready to process all of those foods. That's why yung sinasabi natin parate, if you wish to break your fast after fasting for 24 hours, dahan-dahan lang, wag bigla-bigla. You can start with fluids, water, and then maybe uminom kayo ng soup or bone broth or vegetable broth for vegetarians, and then eat something light muna. Wag bigla-bigla, because you are actually having new intestinal linings, or else magkakaroon kayo ng dumping syndrome na kung saan after you fasted, lahat ng kinain nyo ay lalabas lang. Para lang siyang nag-slide, because those young new cells are still not ready to process. Another line I want you to share with you is this one. Meron lang isa siyang article, and this one is from a study in MIT. So, okay, so I will share you this one lang. So extended fasting is about 24 to 48 hours, and for research even, they can go as long as 120 hours or 5 araw ng pagpa-fasting. So this one lang, fasting for stem cell production. Isang study daw, kinonduct ng mga researchers in MIT, revealed that stem cells drastically increase their rate of regeneration when the subject was in a fasted state, kapag ito ay naka-fasting. And yung fasting, by definition, will be stimulated or started after 12 hours of no food intake. So kung kumain ka at 11th hour, even if nag-fasting ka for 11 hours, pero yung benefits of fasting is not yet there. So you might want to start your fasting at least 12 hours and move on a little from there. So more specifically, stem cells extracted after fasting period and culture showed a double in their regenerative capacity, meaning the stem cells could proliferate into higher numbers with greater efficiency. This discovery was found in both age and young subjects equally. So, ang magandang news dito, good news dito, hindi lang yung mga bata pa yung makaka-benefit when it comes to stem cell regeneration from fasting. In fact, even elderlies, even yung mga matatanda na who've never fasted their whole lives, then they can actually benefit from fasting. These results were recorded for fasting periods of only 24 hours. So see, hindi kailangan sobrang tagal ng fasting. You might be afraid. I know some na nagsasabi na natatakot daw sila mag-follow ng mga sinasabi ko because I sound too extreme. So I may sound too extreme because if I was just sound like so, hindi kayo makikinig sa akin because everybody is just telling you to okay to do IF 12 hours. But the benefits, yes, there's also benefit, but the benefit you cannot really maximize. Hindi talaga ganon ka all out you maximize. But of course, if you are already happy at masasabi mo na you are at the top of your health at hindi mo na kailangan pa ng improvement sa health mo, then you can just continue with what you're doing. Kumakain ka man ng high carb, hindi ka man nag-exercise, hindi ka man nagfa-fasting, but you can say that I'm 100% at the top of my health, then by all means, you continue what you do. But if you are not yet satisfied with your health and you think you need to improve more, then maybe you can think of doing something else. So we are promoting low carb nutrition, that is removing the sugar in the food and also the starch and the good parts of carbohydrates, which may not be essential, but just a good part, which would include fiber and also the vitamins and minerals. If you choose to get them from vegetables, then pwede mong kainin yon. And how about fasting? Fasting is essential para sa lahat if you want to maximize your health. You don't need to do 24 hours of fasting right away. Hindi mo pwedeng biglain yung sarili mo, especially for those who are having medical conditions o merong mga iniinom na gamot. It should be guided by your physician. And good news is we have low carb doctors already that you can consult with para mag-guide kayo. So we have Dr. Brian Castillo, we have Dr. Lisel Gananchal, we have Dr. Kim Espirito, we have Dr. Suzette Encarnado, meron tayong power couple, Dr. Fee Atencio and Doc Mike Atencio. We have Doc Iggy Agbayani, who's very active right now in many other struggles, especially with our pandemic, at marami pang iba. Dumadami na po. And for those who are part of our low carb and fasting masterclass, both the regular learners, the participants, the healthcare providers also, there are doctors, there's also dentists, there are nurses, there are medtechs, meron na rin mga pharmacists and nutritionists who are now learning and embracing the importance of doing low carb nutrition and also incorporating fasting sa kanilang araw-araw, hindi dahil sa nag-enroll sila sa masterclass, but they learned the knowledge about it, how to do it the best way, the best practices when it comes to low carb nutrition and fasting, but they believed it because sila mismo naka-experience ng benefits ng low carb and fasting. And for those of you who also experienced improvement when it comes to low carb nutrition and fasting, you can comment your success stories, your journey, or even your struggles, especially during the start. Kasi sa simula talaga, first 3 days, it may be hard. But for those of you who are now starting 7 days nang naka-life without rice, wala ng kanin, wala ng sugar, wala ng starch, and you are now experiencing lightness sa inyong pakiramdam, hindi na mabigat yung pakiramdam ninyo, yung kakaunting hilo, alam nyo na salt fix lang yung kailangan, kakaunting asin, electrolytes, water lang, ay okay ka na, and your blood pressure is already normalizing. And shout out to Ness for appreciating our advocacy. Maraming salamat po. She said na bumaba na yung kanyang blood pressure and also she already lost 2 kilograms in just 1 week. For those who are losing weight fast na natatakot, know that the first weight loss is just water loss. And it may sound disheartening, baka malungkot kayo na water loss lang pala yung nawala na yon. Huwag kayong malungkot. That's actually the first important achievement, because the moment you lose those water na sa katawan ninyo because of lowered insulin, lowered sugar intake, it actually means na wala na kayong extra water na unnecessary na pinagdadala. Because if parati kayong mabigat yung pakiramdam ninyo, merong nagmamanas, then those are indications that you are actually having a lot of insulin sa katawan and a lot of water retention that you also don't need. And when it comes naman sa pangangayayat, huwag kayong mag-alala, hindi kayo mangangayayat if only you do it right. But when it comes to stem cell therapy, which is our main topic for today, know that you have it in you. Lahat tayo, habang tayo ay buhay, we have this stem cell capacity to regenerate. The saddest part would be, pwede tayong mamatay, pwede tayong mawala sa mundo na hindi natin na-activate ng mabuti yung ating stem cell therapy. It's just like, if you can think about it, it's just like dying or nawala ka na sa mundo, pero yung savings mo sa bangko, nandun lang lahat. Hindi mo siya na-enjoy. Okay? It's because you are saving, para kang nagsisave ka lang ng pagsisave, and that is the equivalent of eating. So nag-sacrifice ka na yung dinadrive mong sasakyan ay sira-sira every month, nasa talyer ka, even if you have money in store that you're capable of buying, but you are saving it. Hindi mo alam kung bakit, pero nagsisave ka lang, nagsisave. And eventually, pwedeng-pwede na yung sasakyan na sirang-sira na just because ayaw mo mag-spend. That even led to accidents and even more problem. So just like in our body, pwede tayong magkaroon ng diseases, pwede tayong magkaroon ng dysfunctions, pwede tayong magkaroon ng iba't ibang sakit. And that can even lead us to death na hindi man lang natin na-activate yung reserve nating stem cells because we've never go into fasting. So fasting will help us activate that stem cell regeneration, and that stem cell regeneration can actually give us the chance to have a brand new start. Para siyang rebirth, para siyang reborn, but of course on individual organ system levels, on cellular levels. I've experienced this myself when I fasted last year, na meron akong nagpakuha ko ng blood sample, and after a week of fasting, the blood sample that I got is way redder. Mas maganda yung kanyang pagkapula, and the medical technologist who assisted me, sabi niya, the blood sample that I've had during that time ay mas mataas, sobrang taas yung levels of new red blood cells, because the old red blood cells, I think they are darker, and the new red blood cells is brighter in color. And sabi niya, after that 1 week of fasting, that was kind of hindi dapat tularan na fasting if you are not a doctor and if you are not experienced with fasting. That was a Phoenix protocol that I did. Those blood sample is yun yung nakita niya na pinakamataas na levels of new red blood cells. And I think I can attribute that with fasting as replacing the old cells because of that Phoenix protocol. And that is an extreme thing that you don't need to follow, but at least, at the very least, the takeaway for this is you actually don't need to eat all the time. And eating 3 meals a day is actually sending your body a signal na it's the all-time harvest season. Nag-iimbak ka lang, nag-iimbak. Para ka lang nag-hoard na nag-hoard na nag-hoard. And yung pag-hoarding mo ay yun mismo ang makakadulot ng iba't ibang sakit sa ating katawan. And if we start eating the right amount at the right time, at yung it may appear like it is eating less, but it's actually just eating right. It's just that nasanay lang tayo kumain ng sobra-sobra, sobrang dami, very frequent, sobrang dalas, more than what we need. And I think in Catholics, it's already about going next month. It's going to be Holy Week. So it's a practice, traditionally practice, wherein yung mga tao ay nag-aayuno. Instead of fasting from meat, instead of fasting from mga pagkain. Usually, kinakain lang yung mga kakanin, yung mga rice, yung mga, kasi walang meat because they are just fasting for meat. Why not fast from sugar? Why not fast from desserts? Why not fast from soft drinks? That is a better way to fast because you are not just disciplining yourself, you are not just adhering to the fasting on spiritual sense, but you will also be cleansing your body at the cellular level. So, try to fast that way. Kung ayaw nyo man kumain ng karne, yes, that's okay. You can still eat. Kung gusto nyo mag-stick to Lenten menu, like yung lang, fish or di kaya egg or meatless, you can still go with that. But most importantly, if you want to eliminate something from your food, eliminate the junk first. Useless ang hindi ka kumain ng karne, pero kumakain ka naman ng chips, kumakain ka naman ng mga desserts, kumakain ka naman ng mga candy, at umiinom ka naman ng soft drinks at mga fruit juices. So that is not the best way to fast, and that will certainly not help with your stem cell therapy that is natural and innate among us. So meron tayong capacity to regenerate our stem cell. That's why people who are fasting regularly in our communities, in low carb feasting and fasting community and life without rice, they have seen that they are improving, at mas marami sa kanila ang nabibigyan ng comment that they look younger than ever, they look more energetic, and those are signs that you are doing low carb and fasting the right way. For those naman na nangangayayat at sinasabihang mas tumanda sila, nag-lose sila ng weight, try to assess your food intake. Maybe you are not refeeding properly, because as much as we love fasting, as much as we do fasting regularly, as much as we believe that fasting is good, but it is also equally important to refeed properly. Tamang refeeding protocol. Walang namamatay with fasting, pero merong mga dangerous na mga scenarios if you don't break your fast the right way. The moment you refeed and you refeed the wrong way, hindi tama yung inyong pagkaka-refeed, then that is where the problem arises. And that is why we have videos like this to help you. For those who wants to know more when it comes to fasting, marami na tayong videos about that. You can share this video to help your family and friends. And also, you can view it in our YouTube channel. So just type in my name. Or if you wish to be guided, we have an ongoing low carb and fasting masterclass by yours truly, Dr. Josephine Grace Chua Rojo, MD. And you will also would like to know more, meron tayong communities that you are free to join. So for the food inspirations for your meals whenever you are not fasting, pwedeng-pwede kayong mag-join sa Life Without Rice and Low Carb Feasting and Fasting Community. And if you wish to join our meet and greet, meron tayong meet and greet so that we can talk more on a personal level and share more of our stories and meet like-minded individuals na mostly kasama natin in our LCFF, in our Life Without Rice, and also the ones in our masterclass. Magkakaroon tayo ng meet and greet this coming March 27 just here in Metro Manila in Pasig City. If you wish to know more about this, just message our admins or contact Admin Angela and Admin Chat at the following numbers: 0917-993-1239 or 0939-919-3719. So maraming salamat everyone. If you would like to be a part of our exclusive group, message lang po yung admins natin in LCF. So remember, hindi kayo kailangan kumain ng marami all the time, every time na feel kayo ng gutom. Know more about the different kinds of hunger. Meron tayong videos about that on the different types of hunger signal. And just eat when you are really nutritionally hungry. Hindi yung kung bored ka lang, o baka nauuhaw ka lang, o baka dehydrated ka lang, o baka nasa company ka lang ng mga people who are giving you always cues that it's time to eat. And if ever it is really a nutritional kind of hunger, kapag kayo talaga ay gutom na and your body is needing nutrition, then it's best to stay low carb. So you can always stay low carb so that we all stay safe. So maraming salamat everybody. Have a good day and I'll see you again in our next video. Maraming salamat po.
Libre.